Hi, this is Jennifer from Studio J Creations. Today we're going to make a few cards using some new items from the new mini catalog as well as some items from the current 2021 catalog. So what you see in front of you is part of the Love You Always suite, and that is in the new mini catalog on page 11. So what we're going to use is 4 different items from on this page. We're going to use the Love You Always Designer Series paper, and this is a specialty paper, so there's some foil elements in that, and Sahara Sand, Rococo Rose, and Blushing Bride are the colors of that Designer Series specialty paper. Then there are the foil sheets from the Love You Always suite in those same 3 colors. We're going to use the Blushing Bride metallic ribbon as well as the heart charms. So this all comes as part of the Love You Always suite with everything else that you see on this page. But today we're just going to use those 4, and I'm going to put that with the Posted For You bundle. Now that bundle comes in the regular catalog, the 1920-21 catalog, and that's on page 81. The Posted For You stamp set is available by itself or as a bundle with the Rectangular Postage Stamp Punch. And so I'm going to put those 2 together today. And then it is celebration, so for the rest of January and all of February, for every $50 that you spend, you get to pick out a free item. So this little celebration catalog is full of all the different free items you can choose. If you spend $100, you can either choose 2 $50 free items or one $100 item, and there's no limit to how much you get free. It just depends on how much you want to spend. So we are going to use all of these different things to make a few cards today. So here are the papers we're using. Of these colors, I'm going to be using the Sahara Sand and the Blushing Bride in both the Designer Series specialty paper and the foil paper. We're not going to use the Rococo Rose today. So here I have all the stamps from in the Posted For You stamp set. Now I've put these on my Stamparatus because I'm actually going to use all of the images. I want them all stamped, and so I'm going to stamp them all at one time, and then I'm going to show you how you can do that twice to get both colors. So I have my white paper here, and I'm going to open this up, and I'm going to ink this with the Blushing Bride. So with that on there, I'm just going to ink those different stamps. Make sure I get a good coverage on each of them. And then I'm going to put my paper on the Stamparatus this direction. So I've lined up all these stamps so that they're within the first 5.5 inches so that I can put my paper here. I can push it down. I'm going to give a little bit of a firm push on those, not too hard, but firm enough to really make contact with the paper. I'm going to lift it up and make sure that I got the images inked as well as I want. Now I can see on this one that that edge of the flower didn't quite get as good as I would want, and maybe the special delivery. So I'm going to do just a little bit, get that ink pad a little bit more on there. And then because that paper is right in the corner and I know those stamps are aligned in the exact same spot, I can actually push that down and ink those a little bit better and get the full coverage that I want. So then what I'm going to do is actually clean that off, and I'm going to use the Stampin' Chamois to clean it off. Now this is just a thick chamois material that holds water very well and just picks up that ink right off of each of those stamps. So I don't need to take them off and individually clean them if I want to change color. So you can see I've used it many times, but none of that ink comes off on my hands. And so that's a great product to use to clean off a bunch of stamps at one time. So I'm going to switch and use the Sahara Sand next. So I'm going to ink the images again. Try to get a little bit better coverage this time. Ink all those different stamps. But again, even if I don't get great coverage, because it is on the Stamparatus, I can always just put that down again on my paper. So I am going to take this on the other side. And I'm going to push that down. And again, firmly, but not too hard, push on those. Lift it up. And ink those images. All right, so I'm going to set that out of the way. Now I have taken each of the Blushing Bride and I have cut those all out using the rectangular postage stamp to cut out these three, and then using some circles to cut out this, and then a variety of label punches to cut out my greetings. And I have then a card base of half of an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper that I folded in half, and I have a 4 by 5¼ inch piece of the Blushing Bride Designer Series Specialty paper, and so that's going to be my card top. And then I've taken and punched out 2 of the postage stamps from both the Blushing Bride and Sahara Sand. So I'm going to use that as the background of my card. Before I start, I'm going to show you a few examples of some cards that I have made using these items. So here's one with the Sahara Sand base. This one uses the Blushing Bride, and this one again, the Sahara Sand. So the one I'm going to do here has the Blushing Bride, and I'm actually going to do something kind of similar to this one to show you. So I have my stamp and seal, and I am going to put that on the card. Just roll that on, flip that over to get it to let go. That just seems to be the trick, to flip it upside down to get that adhesive to not stretch and to really let go nicely. So I'm going to center that on my card base. Next, what I'm going to do is lay out my postage stamp punches the way that I want them to be on my card. Kind of get them as the 4 of them centered as much as possible into the middle of the card. They don't need to be perfect, but I just want them to look pretty centered all there in the middle with about an even amount of space around them. So I'm going to adjust them before I stick them down. All right. All right, so I like that positioning, so I'm going to take them and just put 2 lines of the stamp and seal on each one. Get those in place. You know, one thing I find with the stamp and seal versus the snail adhesive is it seems to be a little bit stickier, seems to hold the items down on the card a little bit stronger maybe than the snail adhesive. I really liked using the snail adhesive, but this product seems like it's going to work just as well or maybe even a little bit better. So I'm just making sure to line up the edges of the postage stamp and put those on. All right. So then I am going to take my images. Actually, I'm going to take a 15-inch piece of the Blushing Bride metallic ribbon. I'm going to put that on next, and in the description of this video you will find all of the dimensions and the colors and all the different products that we've used here on this project today. So I'm actually going to run that ribbon inside the card, and I'm going to tie it right over the top of the card. And it's too short to do a bow, but so I'm just going to tie it into a knot on the front of the card. Now on one of the other examples that I made, this one here, I did do a bow, used actually only about 10 or 11 inches, and tied it into a bow and put some of the Stampin' Seal right on the back of there, and put that on the card instead of wrapping it around. But for this one I'm going to wrap it around. I think what I will use is the Love Punch, and I'm going to put that one offset on here, and I'm actually going to use a couple Stampin' Dimensionals on the back. I'm just going to put 2 of them on the back of here, and then offset that the other direction from the direction that the postage stamp is going. So I'm going to put that right in there. Line that up there. And then I've already put some dimensionals on the Sending Love Your Way. And I'm going to tuck that under there a little bit so the ribbon goes over it, and take the back of the dimensionals off. And line that up right above the ribbon and put my greeting there. Now I'm going to use liquid glue actually to put the special delivery circle in the middle of the of this postage stamp up here, just because it's a little bit small, and so I don't want to try to put the Stampin' Seal on there. So just a few dots of that on the back, and then I'm going to line it up right centered in the middle of that postage stamp, and just push it down. And then I'm actually I'm actually going to use the I think that's the word I was looking for, this liquid glue on the back of the heart charm. I found this is really my favorite thing to use on even the metal elements. It does stick pretty well on the paper. You just have to do very small dots of it. And then you really have to just put it where it's going to go and not move it, because that adhesive, once it is on there, it is stuck. So I'm going to turn it to the side a little bit, put it right in there where I want it, and stick it down. Alright, so I've got that there. Got a little bit of adhesive on there, but I'll use my adhesive remover to get that off. So then I've got the front of the card done, and when I open it up, you can see the ribbon on the back, or on the inside of the card. So I have a little piece of the Sahara Sand designer series paper that I'm going to use in the inside, and I've got a couple more greetings left. So I've got a Just For You and a Happy Birthday. So I think I'm going to make this one a Happy Birthday, and just put a little of the Stampin' Seal on there. Add that element to the inside of the card, and add the Happy Birthday. Offset a little. So there I have a Love You Always and Posted For You. A couple different cards done a few different ways, and just a real fun, almost kind of a special looking card set that you could use to give away for Valentine's Day, birthdays, fun spring Valentine's Day type card. So thanks so much for watching.